Hi guys, welcome to Rights and Realities episode 4. My name is Effa and I'm here with
Modupe
and Amaka.
So guys, March is Women's Month and we just finished celebrating International Women's Day a few days ago on the 8th. So we've talked about menstrual health and dignity today. So first of all, what is menstrual health and dignity? So menstrual health and dignity refers to the physical, emotional and social well-being of individuals who menstruate. So yes. So with menstrual health now, in Nigeria, it is still a topic that is very much stigmatized and we hear a lot of common misconceptions about it. So I would like to hear what are some of the misconceptions that you guys have heard about menstrual health. Oh, yes.
Should I start?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I hear people refer to menstruation as something that is like dirty, something that is not clean. You know, this is a natural body biological process that you do not have any hand in. It just happens. I think one thing that I heard a story where a lady was told that she couldn't touch like raw food, she couldn't cook because she was menstruating, and I'm like, I don't understand. What does that have to do with her cooking? So stuff like that, like it puts thoughts into your head that this is something that you should be ashamed of or something that is not normal. So I think that's one crazy thing that I've heard about menstruation or menstrual health.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, just to add, I went for a menstrual health SPCC, a communication training there. I was watching a video, and we could see that this menstrual stigma comes from your partner, it comes from men, it comes from the society, it even comes from women who are also experiencing the same, who still go through the same menstrual process and all that. So most of the misconceptions you hear, you cannot enter a worship place, you have to sit at the back, you're impure, you cannot cook, and you see young girls, they can't even go to school because of the stigma that is attached with menstruation, forgetting that menstruation is a natural process. Is one thing that we do not have control over. There are a lot of stigma around it. I remember when I was growing up, my aunt. So most people do not know that this. But as a child, I did not really understand it then. But now with space and everything, we need to understand that what I was told does not make sense. So I remember when I saw my first period and I was going through the pain, and I met her, I was like, oh, I'm having a very serious pain. And she gave me medicine that first time. The second month, and she was like, that I cannot be taking medicine. That if I take medicine when I'm pregnant, how will I cope with the pain? And believe me, till now, I don't take medicine. But it's a lie. There are women who take medicine when they're seeing their menses, and they go through pregnancy and they give birth healthy. But these are things these are thoughts that you put in young children and they hold it dear to their heart. There are a lot of people just bring up conception, just bring up ideas about menstruation. Oh, you're unholy at this period because you're seeing bad blood. I asked a student one time, what do you know about menses? Do you know the answer? It just says one student, and he said, menses is the dirty blood that comes out from woman. And I was like, no, it's not. So you could see that, and it's a boy, because I wanted to hear his own idea of what does menses mean. You could see that even in schools, they're not even giving children the proper education, the proper information about menstruation.
So there's a lot of cultural, religious,
everything,
family background, so many things that affect, make people like feel a certain way about menstruation, bring about this stigma and discrimination about menstruation for young girls. So I think that is something. Effa, not anything from you.
So my mom has a bar now, and there was a day that like all her workers were not around, and she told me, oh please, can you help me serve? So I went to serve a man, I guess, a bottle of beer, and I went to open it, and he was like, "No, I don't used to allow women open my bottle." I said, "From where?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you don't know if you are, you are on that in that time of the month."
I was
so
even
just drop
I was even going to say that even the fact that people cannot even call it menstruation.
Exactly.
They would say, "Oh, that's your cousin that usually comes once a month has arrived." So even not being able to call it what it is also puts a certain mystery or whatever around it. Like there's something you should hide, something that is you should not say when it's something that is very much normal. Yeah.
And this stigma.
It affects you. Makes you feel
don't want to go to school.
Yes.
Gives you
Yeah.
Can have low self-esteem because when you're menstruating, you don't want people to come around you, be feeling like, sometimes you will sit down, you'll be using style to stand up, you'll be all those,
Even in school, when you stand up and you tell your friend, "Please check for me,"
just so that people will not laugh at you.
and people would make fun of you, or they wouldn't even be able to approach you, if you're stained or something. So that brings about a lot of stigma. Yeah.
So, what do we think we can do, or like how can we make sure that menstrual health becomes a priority, like a human right? Because it is a human right. Because it's not something that we can control. It's not it's a bodily function.
I think first of all, it should be considered from the point of view that it's a human issue. Well, I say issue, it's something that affects a human being.
Yes.
Because if you look at it, okay, something that affects a woman, or it's
a process.
It's something that affects a human being, and so it should be something that should be considered human rights. It's something that has to do with a human being. So nobody should be made to feel anyhow, or I don't know how to put it. Like you should have access to what you need to be able to. It's as basic as you going to the toilet or using the bathroom. Do you understand? So the products, the services, everything that you require during that period should be made available to you. So it should be considered in human rights too.
Just to add, and one thing we need to do as young girls who have understood the idea of menstrual health and menstrual dignity is that when we go to communities, this one thing we need to do is to keep preaching to the young girls that it's a natural thing. Period, and no stigma. If you're menstruating, you have to be bold, be confident. It means you're a full-grown woman now.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Just to even add, and I'm coming from this part from parents. You have a daughter who is going through, who just started seeing her menses. You should start having conversation of, it's a natural thing. You don't need to be ashamed. They have period calendar. You introduce them to
have a conversation with them.
Period care, menstrual care. Yes,
normalize having period conversation.
Because even parents they try to not start having the conversation.
They even put it in. Even when you come innocently, you don't know what it is. They bring that mystery around it, like something you should hide, something that is. They tell you, see, you are a lady now. You can no longer be sitting down like this. You can no longer
play with boys.
You can't play with boys.
Yeah. So
and that is where the gender inequality will now plays in. Why they should be free. The only thing you ought to do as a parent is to provide them with all the care that they need, the support and everything. Because I say this because when we talk about menstrual health and dignity, mental health plays in.
Yes.
Because as a lady, we go through a lot of changes. There's pain, there is mood swing. We have to understand that as a lady, when we will have mood swing. You will see us smiling tomorrow and today we are sad. It is mood swing.
The entire cycle is a roller coaster.
So it will change. You will see a girl that was slimmer today, she's bigger today. You see, we have boobs, there are a lot of changes, and mothers, I don't want to put it as mothers, parents need to have this conversation with them so that they understand that that it's not something they can control, it's not something they should be ashamed of, it's something that they should wake up in the morning, take their baths, wear their pad, and walk like an angel. Go to where they want to go to the place of worship, go to school, and be bold. Because when parents do not have this conversation with their children, and you just let them go into the society, they start to learn from society. They start to hear the misconception, you're menstruating, you cannot be walking like this, you cannot go to this place, you cannot cook. That's the thing. So most of this misconception, when you don't, as a parent, give them this knowledge, when they hear from outside, it holds more to them.
So in essence, it should be it's a natural, human, very basic. So you should. So whatever it is that needs to be done in terms of products, services, whatever it is, needs to be made available to young girls,
We also
individuals that menstruate.
Policymakers, we're also saying that to lawmakers.
Yeah.
They have to prioritize menstrual products, especially for communities that
should be affordable. It should be free. I still don't understand how
menstrual poverty,
how menstrual products are not free in this country.
That's
how pads.
Like I tried to buy.
It's very crazy.
It's increasing.
I didn't even know. I was like,
crazy. So I just think about it like for myself. If it is like if I consider it expensive, how much more somebody that is in a community or in a displaced place or that doesn't even have access to even enter a store and like how are they able to?
I heard a story about. Also, I had like friends that went to a community and they saw young girls drying pad. I'm not saying reusable pad. I'm saying disposable pads. So when they use it, they wash the blood and dry it. It is wrong.
But if you
ask them, because it is expensive, they cannot afford it.
And so if those products are available, if they are affordable, people would not be doing that. Even though that there are conversations around how menstrual products bring like waste in the environment and stuff like that. But there have been provisions for reusable pads, menstrual cups, eco-friendly products.
With the menstrual cups and like the tampon, like that's another stigma that comes with it. You know that you're inserting something inside. It's another conversation on its own.
Yeah.
So it's.
But even the reusable pads, is it even common in Nigeria?
That's the thing. I think people say it, but people that are in like all these very much local communities, I wonder like what do they use? They use like pieces of cloth or So I think a lot of organizations that work around pushing for like education around menstrual health and menstrual dignity. When they are doing their outreaches, they share all the stuff. They share reusable pads. They share menstrual cups. So at least with that, some people are able to even have access and use some of those products.
That's true. So I guess the final question is how can governments, how can we make sure that the government and policymakers, lawmakers, how can we make sure they put menstruation health rights at the forefront of their work?
I think continue to like bring it up in conversations. Continue to raise more awareness around menstrual health and dignity and how it's affecting young girls. If young girls are not able to fully participate in school, are out of school because of something that is very natural and something that is very basic, it's something that should be considered a problem and an issue. And so because of that, they should look at it and see it as something that they need to address. They should have conversations about it. It shouldn't be at the back in budgeting, in planning, all the relevant ministries that have to do with health, education. It should be a topic. It should be a topic that that is really talked about, that is really at the forefront. So I think continue to have those conversations. Raising more awareness around this is one way that we can do that.
Well, just to add, because Pascal has said everything, we should have more, I want to say projects, more donors tilting towards menstrual health right now. It's not, the amount of, I don't want to not say the right thing, but we don't have a lot of projects that are talking about menstrual health.
Because they're not considering it something that is major.
Because we need to understand, we need to have more funding.
Maybe if it's men that are menstruating, it would have been a major.
That's true. But we should have more fundings that are tilting towards menstrual health, because the stigma is a lot. It has been there from generation, and we need to start ending it now.
So I think also making menstrual products very much affordable and accessible.
Not even affordable, it should be free.
Accessible,
it should be
free
right now.
Free.
It should be free.
It's one way that
exactly
government can do something. It should be. You cannot be buying something as basic as that very expensive. It's like I said, it's like using toilet tissue. Tissue paper. It's very basic, so it should be affordable. It should be free. At this point, I think there are some countries that menstrual products are free.
Yes.
You see it everywhere. It's in schools. If you enter a public restroom, it is there. So it should be like that also here in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you guys for a very insightful conversation into menstrual health and dignity.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. And remember to normalize conversations around menstrual health and dignity, and always include boys and men in every conversation that we have.
Yeah, call it menstruation. It's not your cousin or your visitor.
We're also calling on the government, policymakers, and lawmakers to make sure that menstrual health and dignity conversations are at the forefront of every work that they do.
Yeah.
Also, to our stakeholders, that's our parents, /guardians, our teachers, among others, we're calling on you to create a safe and dignified environment for menstrual health and hygiene for young girls.
Also, if you have questions around your menstrual health, around body changes or puberty, you can reach out to us on the number on your screen. You can send SMS or call us. We have counselors on standby who are there to give answers to all your questions. It is free, it is non-judgmental, and it is confidential.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you in our next episode.
Bye.